I saw a cowboy leaning on the fence, intently watching the broncos. My pulse increased as I sensed his energy and reverence for the horses. I watched him focus on one mare in particular. He observed her closely for about 10 minutes as she snaked her neck and tossed her head, moving the other horses off their piles of hay. I saw the cowboy nod at her, then walk away with the grace and unconscious body awareness that all talented horsemen possess. Who was he? I checked my rodeo program. Buck McDonald. Buck was a bronc rider who'd been undefeated in his novice year. The program said he was 25 and his body was all man, but he had a baby face that made him look like he should be riding a bicycle rather than a bronco. His nose was beaked and a bit too big and his eyes a bit too small, but his smile lit up the room like a camera's flash, and he displayed that high-intensity grin easily and often. Many bronc riders are small and wiry, but Buck was just under 6 feet tall, lean but nicely muscled. The competitor number pinned to his back emphasized his broad shoulders, and his chaps framed his well-rounded behind. I saw Buck ride that afternoon and watched for him at the cabaret that evening. My cousins and I met around pitchers of beer on a circular table. I caught Buck's eye and smiled at him. He looked sexy in his pressed jeans and the Western shirt boldly embroidered with his sponsor's logo. He grinned confidently back at me. My stomach lurched as Buck sauntered over and said, "I'm not much of a dancer, but I know how to work with a partner. Would you care to take a ride?" He flicked his head at the dance floor. My cousins smirked, and one of them pushed me towards Buck as I stood up, my cheeks reddening. Buck was kidding about not being a dancer and right about knowing how to lead. He didn't pull me too tight or push me around. We followed the other couples about the perimeter of the floor, and he spun me at each corner. My stomach flip-flopped again when he looked at me as the two-step ended and asked me to stay for another song. I was glad to hear the first few bars of a slower song, Forever and Ever, Amen. I breathed in the cedar and citrus of Buck's aftershave as I moved in closer and rested my forehead on his chest while we danced. It can get a bit wild at the cabarets when everyone's been drinking, but I felt safe in his arms.